Hello, and welcome to the 18th episode of our Scripture in a Year series, hosted by Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Church in the Albanian Archdiocese of the OCA. Today's readings will be Exodus chapters 17 through 20. Now all the congregation of the children of Israel departed from the wilderness of Sin, according to their encampments and by the word of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim. But there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses, saying, "Give us water that we may drink." Moses then said to them, "Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?" Thus the people thirsted there for water, and the people complained against Moses and said, "Why is it you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us, our children, and our cattle with thirst?" So Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, "What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go before this people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also, take in your hand the rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock in Horeb. And you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, so the people may drink." So Moses did so before the children of Israel. Thus he called the name of that place Temptation and Abuse, because of the abusive language of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. So Moses said to Joshua, "Choose for yourself some mighty men, and go out, and set the army in array against Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses said to him, and set the army in array against Amalek. Then Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And so it was, when Moses held up his hands, that Israel prevailed. But when he let down his hands, Amalek prevailed. Now Moses' hands became heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Then Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and one on the other, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this for a memorial in a book and recount it in the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." Now Moses built an altar and called its name, "The Lord my refuge." For with a secret hand the Lord wars with Amalek from generation to generation. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard about all God did for Moses and for Israel his people, that the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he sent her back with her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, "I was a sojourner in a foreign land." And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, "The God of my father is my help, and he rescued me from the hand of Pharaoh." And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the desert, where he encamped at the mountain of God. Now he had said to Moses, "I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you, with your wife and 2 sons with her." So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him. Thus they greeted one another, and he brought them into the tent. Then Moses told his father-in-law all the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to all the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them out of the hand of Pharaoh and from the hand of the Egyptians. Then Jethro was amazed at all the good things the Lord had done for Israel, whom he delivered out of the hand of Pharaoh and from the hand of the Egyptians. Then Jethro said, "Blessed be the Lord who delivered you out of the hand of Pharaoh and from the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know the Lord is great above all the gods. For this reason they did not prevail over them." Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took whole burnt offerings and sacrifices for God. For Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. So it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all he did for the people, he said, "What is this thing you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" Then Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to seek judgment from God. When they have a dispute, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the ordinances of God and his laws. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, The thing you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you surely wear yourselves out, for this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Now listen to me. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, that you may bring their concerns to God. Teach them God's ordinances and laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the works they are to do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, just men hating covetousness, and set them over the people to be rulers of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Let them judge the people at all times. Then every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will relieve and help you. If you do this thing, God will strengthen you. Then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go to their place in peace. So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all he said. Thus Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They judged the people at all times. All the hard cases they brought to Moses, but the small ones they judged themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he returned to his own land. Now in the 3rd month after the children of Israel departed from the land of Egypt, on the same day, they came into the Sinai desert, for they departed from Rephidim, and came into the Sinai desert, and camped in the desert. So Israel camped there before the mountain. Then Moses went up to the mountain of God, and God called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on the eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be a special people to me above all nations, for all the earth is mine. You shall be to me a royal priesthood and a holy nation. These are the words you shall speak to the children of Israel. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before them all these words the Lord commanded him. Then all the people answered with one accord and said, Everything the Lord said we will do and hearken to. So Moses reported these words to God. The Lord then said to Moses, Behold, I come to you in the pillar of cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. So Moses reported the words of the people to the Lord. Again, the Lord said to Moses, Go down and solemnly charge the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. Let them be ready for the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day the Lord will descend upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely die. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow, whether man or beast. He shall not live. When the thunders, the trumpets, and the cloud depart from the mountain, they shall ascend the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified them, and they washed their clothes. Then he said to the people, Be ready for the 3rd day, do not come near your wives. So it was that on the 3rd day, in the morning, there were thunderings and lightnings and a dark cloud on Mount Sinai, and the sound of the trumpet was very loud, and all the people in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely enveloped in smoke, because God descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the people were exceedingly amazed. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mountain. And the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. Then God spoke to Moses, Go down and solemnly charge the people, lest they break through to gaze at God, and many of them perish. Also let the priests who come near the Lord God sanctify themselves, lest he destroy some of them. But Moses said to God, "The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you solemnly charged us, saying, 'Set bounds around the mountain and sanctify it.'" The Lord then said to him, Go down and then come up, you and Aaron with you, but do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to God, lest the Lord destroy some of them." So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. Now the Lord spoke all these words, saying, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol or a likeness of anything in heaven above, or in the earth beneath, or in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, recompensing the sins of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, neither you nor your son nor your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, your cattle, nor your stranger who sojourns with you. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and everything in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and mother, that it may be well with you, and your days may be long upon the good land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not cover your neighbor's wife or his house, and neither shall you covet his field, nor his male servant, his female servant, his ox, his donkey, any of his cattle, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. Now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw this, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, "You speak with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die." And Moses said to the people, "Be of good courage, for God is come to test you, that his fear may be among you, so you may not sin." So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and report it to the children of Israel. You have seen that I talked with you from heaven. You shall not make for yourselves gods of silver, and gods of gold you shall not make for yourselves. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your whole burnt offerings, your peace offerings, your sheep and your calves. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you and bless you. If you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone, for if you use your tool on it, you defile it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may not be exposed on it." Here ends the reading for today.